My name is Jeff Turcott, and this is my wife,
Kelly Kurtz.
and our business is Simply Well Seniors, and this is the Simply Well Seniors Aging Well Seminar Series. This is our third year that we've been doing, the second year here in this location, and we're really excited about this topic coming up. It's about assisted living options in our area, mostly in Leominster and in Fitchburg. So ask the folks a lot of questions. We have some prepared questions that we will ask them that they hopefully prepared to answer. But if they didn't, we'll just wing it. Like that's kind of sometimes how it goes. But just to let you know a little bit about us and what we do and who we're sponsored by. And we'll hear from a couple of our sponsors as we introduce them, that kind of thing. So Sunrise Senior Living, who is on our panel today, is our platinum sponsor this year. And we're so happy that they came on board. But we also have some gold sponsors, Heywood, Wakefield Commons, Lifecare Centers of America, and Senior Helpers. And typically we have Amma here, but Amma's husband, Echo, is here. So give Echo a round of applause. And push the button. Hang on. Check test. There you go.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Echo. I'm from Senior Helpers. Senior Helpers, we're an in-home care company, so we provide home for individuals who are looking to stay at home for as long as possible. Our motto or our slogan is Senior Care Only Better, and when we say Senior Care Only Better, we actually do mean it. So we go above and beyond what most individuals will do, most companies will do in providing you care. We are a recognized provider for veterans. So if there's a veteran or somebody who's a veteran getting VA services at home, we're able to provide those services. We'll soon be receiving our credentialing with Mass Health as well. So that also helps with individuals that are on Mass Health. And if you happen to be with an assisted living facility, we have staffing to assist whenever needed. And I'm around to answer any questions any of you may have.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Those are great accreditations as well. We also have Bill O'Connor from Lifecare Centers, and we'll have him say a quick word. They came on board this year as sponsors as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
We're enjoying it. I mean, we've seen you guys at all the other senior meetings. So I am Bill O'Connor. I am the Director of Business Development for the Highlands of Fitchburg and Lifecare Center of Leominster. They are both Lifecare facilities. The Highlands is a 168-bed facility located up at the old Burbank Nursing School. We are a 5-star building, 4.7 Google rating. And the Lifecare of Leominster is on West Street. We are a 124-bed building, 4 stars, but we're getting it back up to 5, and also a 4.6 Google rating. Both of your premier buildings for both short-term and long-term needs. We do everything from ortho, respiratory, wound care, and we have a dedicated dementia unit at the Highlands, a 46-bed unit. So just great to be here.
Perfect. Thanks, Bill. Give Bill a round of applause. Thank you. And a little bit later this year, we're going to feature Bill and Amma and her husband talking about navigating this healthcare system in this highway when short-term rehab is needed or help at home is needed, those kinds of things. So it should be.
Yeah, that one's coming up in August, I believe.
Okay. Also, we want to recognize NXT Level Studios. They are our videographers. Keith has not missed one seminar since we started. He's been here every time.
2.5 years. Yay.
We're really excited about that.
And those are all on our website in our library. So if there's a topic that you couldn't see or you wanted to watch, you can always go back and look at any of our seminars.
So just a little bit about those real quick, about our proven process is that some people have called it a couple of different things. Oh, you guys are like soup to nuts. Or someone said, you do the whole schmear, the whole thing from start to finish. And we sometimes say from clean out to closing is what we do. So Kelly and I are realtors, but we're different. And our tagline is that we help seniors navigate the journey to the next place they call home. Sometimes that's the home that you're living in, though, and you're wanting to stay there and live on one level. We can assist with that as well. So a couple of things that we've been doing this past month, amongst other things. We helped someone yesterday move into Sunrise, actually, from an apartment. We have to go back and do a few more things, but there was a lovely experience, and we really appreciate the staff at Sunrise working with us. We're going to be working with someone that asked us last year to call her in 5 years because she thinks she'll be ready. And after the snow melted, she says, I think I'm ready. So we actually helped another family member of hers last year. And this family is planners. They plan. So she's ready to go. What was the word that she used when she makes a decision? She doesn't waffle. She doesn't vacillate.
Vacillate.
Yeah. She's going straight for it. So it was a pleasure to work with her. And amongst other things, grandkids and more grandkids coming for us. So it's a lot of fun. But we'll be around to talk a little bit about that as well. So today we have 4 of our premier assisted living communities here represented: Heywood, Manor on the Hill, Sunrise, Senior Living, and the Gables. And we're going to start with some introductions first. This is in no particular order, okay? From Sunrise Senior Living, we have Peter McDonald, Executive Director at Sunrise. Give him a round of applause.
Yeah.
And we have name tags. You don't necessarily have to sit where your name tag is, but okay, there you go.
I'm going to Indiana.
Okay. Next, we do have Patty Peterson from the Gables in Fitchburg. Patty's the marketing director. And again, this year, we have Kim Blair from Manor on the Hill, right here in Leominster. Kim's the sales director. And also one of our pioneer sponsors that took a chance on this last year and said, yes, we appreciate what you're doing, and they came on board. Christy Livingston from Heywood. And I have a walk-up song for you. There you go. Let's give everybody a round of applause. All right. Okay. So, like I said earlier, we have questions. And the microphone, just pass it back and forth when we ask.
All good.
Okay. So first and foremost, let's start with Peter, and we'll just go down the line so folks can think about this question. So please share with us what your role is and how much experience you have in this senior living business and space. We'll start with Peter.
Can you hear me okay? Yeah. I'd like to say I'm honored to be up here with my colleagues from the area. They all do great work. So I'm Peter McDonald. I'm the executive director at Sunrise Senior Living in Leominster, which is not an easy place to get to these days with all the construction on Central Street, but it's going to be better. It'll be better. On March 31st, I celebrated 20 years as the executive director at Sunrise, which is a little bit of a outlier for people in the senior living industry. But I'm blessed to have a great team, and they call me the captain of the ship. And that's really what it comes down to. You can't be an expert at everything. You can't run everything, but you just make sure that you stay on course and that everybody's safe. And prior to 2 decades ago, I closed my consulting practice in healthcare, and I did everything from there was in, I think it was Lunenburg, I forget, but it was actually a solo practice doctor that worked out of a log cabin. And I helped him with some things around practice management. And if you've ever been to UMass in Worcester in the outpatient building where they actually have like a little guide that helps you get in the right line and everything, that was my idea back in the day, because they were getting a lot of complaints about people having to wait too long or not knowing where to go. And it wasn't just the patients complaining, it was the providers, because the patients weren't showing up on time because they got lost in that great big lobby. So, a lot of experience both in healthcare and senior living.
Thanks, Peter. Patty, how about you?
I started in home care. I was in home care for 25 years. I worked my way up from a caregiver up to coordinating and managing a home care office. And then I've been at the Gables for 14 years now. So out of my 38 years, I spent 20 as a caregiver. So and I'm the marketing director and admissions for the Gables Assisted Living.
Thanks, Patty. Kim?
Hello, folks. I am Kim. I work at Manor on the Hill. I've been there 15 years. My background is social work. So I've been a social worker 30 years, which I think is a little bit helpful, having worked in long-term care, home care. So I do admissions at the Manor, but as a social worker, I get to do other things that come up as needed. And we're been there 15, and I'm going to be there till I retire.
And I'm Christy Livingston from Heywood, Wakefield Commons in Gardner. We'll be celebrating our 15-year anniversary in September. I'm celebrating my 15-year anniversary. Actually, I think maybe even today, this week. It was
wow.
Yay.
in
Congratulations.
April. I started while we were still under construction, and it's been a beautiful journey from construction to thriving. So, and my love for working with seniors probably started when I was in Girl Scouts as a kid. When we volunteered, we had the Adopt a Grandparent program in Girl Scouts, and ever since then, I've always wanted to stay connected with seniors.
Super. All right, why don't you hang on to the mic, Christy, and we'll start with you. But isn't this great to see how many years of experience you have with these people that are at the helm or the captains of their communities? It's really nice to have all their backgrounds and resources. So you're in good hands with any of these communities should you want to take a tour or choose to live there. So starting with you, Christy, we're going to talk about the various reasons why people might move to assisted living. And thinking a little bit about the people who have moved to your specific community, what are your top 3 reasons you would say they made the move to assisted living?
I think of late, probably one of the number one reasons is safety concerns, where our newer residents moving in tend to maybe have had an incident or maybe more than one incident, some falls at home. They might have even had a short-term rehab stay after an injury, and family has, concerns of, I don't know how long this is really going to be safe. What happens with the next fall? So I'd say that's one. 2, I think, is probably loneliness, because a lot of folks moving into assisted living, my colleagues will probably agree, usually are alone. They had been living alone. And I think as a lot of people realize, especially after COVID, being isolated and lonely is not good for your mental health, but it also that connects to your physical health. 3rd reason, sometimes it's I'd say family burnout would probably be another top reason, where family's been doing a lot. They've been doing the housekeeping, they've been doing the lawn care, they've been doing the cooking, they've been doing, maybe helping with a shower or 2, and they just can't keep that up while maintaining a job and their own family life.
Kim, why don't we kind of bounce off that and give some other reasons.
Yeah, well, what I find is recently with some of the admissions coming in, it's funny. I find for assisted living, I have folks waiting much longer, and I have a couple moving in a couple of weeks who are 96. And then, so I think assisted living, I find folks are waiting as long as possible. But then memory care, I'm seeing a bit younger. I have two fairly new residents that are 60, so quite a big change. But the recent admissions, I think they're just struggling with meals. That's a big thing. Not eating great and not taking their meds. So that's kind of families like, you're just not eating well. You're taking your meds and they're just not doing great. So that extra support. So that's what I'm seeing. Yeah.
So at Manor on the Hill, there is assisted living and there's memory care.
Yeah.
The same as at Sunrise.
Yes.
But the Gables and Heywood, it's assisted living. Assisted, and at the Gables, there's some independent as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So there's a variety of options.
Depending on what
And
your
what's
needs are.
nice is knowing everybody, we do work together. So if I have if I have somebody that wants something, we have mostly studios, and I know they want something big, I call Patty. Or, we all work together because we want to make sure that folks are happy and that they find what they need.
Okay, great. Well, let's move on to the next question for you, Patty.
Unless you had
Unless
something
you had
else
something else you wanted to
different.
add.
One of
Peter
the
had
other
something
things
different.
too is moving back from out of state. I have a gentleman moving in from Florida because the family is all up here. So, but ditto on all the other stuff. And another thing too is families, the burnout. Just to piggyback off of that, and a lot of times they don't give the parents a choice if they're coming out of rehab. But once they move into any of our communities and they're there for a couple of weeks, they wish they would have done it sooner because it's not what they think. People that are waiting too long, that are in their 90s, they didn't have assisted living back in the day when they had to help their parents. So they're thinking that it's like a nursing home, and it's not. We're nothing like skilled nursing. So it's a very independent living. And we have two people that are over 100 that are still tooling around like nobody's business. So what did you want? I know, it's crazy. I love it.
Did you have anything, Peter, that you wanted to add to that, or do you think they covered those?
I think those are all good points. People make changes when the current situation reaches a certain pain point. Whether it's moving to senior living or downsizing or changing jobs, whatever it is, we all make those changes when you get to a point this isn't comfortable. I see seniors, and when I see seniors, we've had people in their 50s. And 50s and 60s in memory care. But it's very multifactorial. In memory care, it's generally the primary issue is safety. Well, the police found Mom walking on the on-ramp onto Route 2 last night. Twice.
Those kinds of things, exactly, right. And what we're advocating and what we advocate on a regular basis is there's choices, and like you said, there's potential. Usually, it gets to a point where this is too much, and there is a pain point. But we like to open and discussions with people about, is there a better choice than where you are right now, and not necessarily because of the pain, but is there a better choice? We talk about aging well. That's what we want to advocate. Is there potentially something better than what you are right now, where you are right now, and weighing those options as well. So let's talk a little bit about apartment options in assisted living. And Peter, let's start with you. We had the pleasure of being at your place yesterday, and we zhuzhed it up really nice. And
Yeah, so try not to pick the really snowy days.
Yeah, next time
when you're moving,
we'll
right?
do that,
Nobody
right.
wants to move when the snow is coming down sideways into the back of a moving truck.
Right.
One of the significant differences, as Patty was saying, between assisted living and skilled nursing is we're a social model. So our residents move into apartments. They move into neighborhoods. They don't move into units. We have an assisted living neighborhood. We have a reminiscence neighborhood. We call it reminiscence because that's what we do. We reminisce with those residents because, frankly, their short-term memory isn't there anymore. But they'll remember 30 or 40 years ago. But as far as the apartments go, there's everything from small studios at Sunrise that are 300 square feet to our two-bedroom penthouse is almost 1,000 square feet with big floor-to-ceiling windows, and you get to look out to the corner of Central Street and Beth Ave and watch all the accidents, which is quite exciting. And then different options in between, as all of us have. And it can be a couple, it can be somebody that has their apartment privately, and we also have companion living situations. So as Jeff was saying, it's about choice. Not only do you have a choice of community, you have a choice of the size of your apartment once you're there.
Could you just say a little bit about the companion living? I'm not sure
Sure.
if people are familiar with that.
Companion living is, we find it very successful. In fact, I would say that two people living together, unmarried, is at least as successful as the married couple living together. And you can see me later. I don't want to say on tape why that's true. But there's really two benefits. One is the social benefit. Because as we get old, we are social beings. As we get older, we crave for that companionship. And somebody said the loneliness of, that's one of the reasons. Even if you have a caregiver coming into your house, you see one person every day. And they're probably not our age. They're in their 20s maybe. So it's hard to have those conversations. So the social aspect is huge. The other aspect is the financial aspect. Because if you share an apartment, you're not burdened with the entire cost of the apartment. It's like having a roommate. You know, think back to if you had an apartment with roommates at some point. If you're a married couple, you're sharing those expenses. If you're both getting Social Security and a pension, you've got a certain amount of income and you're sharing the expenses of that one home. Same thing with an apartment and senior living.
All right, Patty, do you want to talk a little about your apartments?
Yeah.
Her apartments are much bigger.
I don't know if everyone here is familiar with the Gables, but we were built as a 55 plus. We're on John Fitch Highway across from Coolidge Park. So we have 47 regular apartments with full-size kitchens. So they start at studios at about 525 square feet, all the way up to 1,200 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bath units. 20 of them are what we call a 1-bedroom deluxe, but it's 900 square feet with a bath and a half, plus you have balconies. So we were built as an apartment house, and that's what we look like. We don't do the shared. We've talked about doing it in the bigger ones, but you'd have to find the right people, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, the challenges with that. You got to find the right two people, but yeah, we've got the warm, cozy thing going on.
Our community, you might know Manor on the Hill. It used to be the Holiday Inn, so that's what folks remember us as. Barty and Victor bought it. We're going on 29 years, and it's still the Botka family. But they're mostly studio apartments. But we have been able to accommodate couples, 1-bedroom, living room, bedroom, and then we do what we call a shared apartment as well, and that sometimes helps folks who have a little bit tighter budget, and it just makes it much more affordable, where sometimes there aren't a lot of options for folks who might be on the lower income. So we do try to work within folks' budget. So we have mostly studios, but we have shared suites and 1-bedrooms.
Are the studios at Manor on the Hill, are there refrigerators, stoves.
We do mostly a microwave, a small mini fridge, and a cabinet for snacks. We've done a deluxe that has a little bit more of a kitchen if people want to have like their own Keurig and things like that. So we have a couple different styles, but a lot of people do like having the option of just heating up things in their room as well.
Yeah, and one of the big advantages of assisted living is the wonderful food that they all provide. So in the community that you have when you go to the dining room or the shared areas to eat with other folks. So the kitchen isn't as big of a deal to have anymore because now you have your meals, delicious meals provided.
Very much true. Yeah, most folks, I think when they're moving in, they're done cooking. Yeah.
I know when we've helped folks move into the Gables, we're moving in pots and pans because they have a kitchen. And Patty said most of the stoves never get turned on.
One bad thing about living at the Gables, everybody gains weight. That's all.
Well, just us being at Sunrise yesterday, in and out multiple times, we kept smelling chocolate chip cookies being baked. So they smell delicious in all of these communities too. So I can see how people would gain weight.
Now, Heywood is a little different because
Historic.
It was a historic factory with really tall ceilings. It's fantastic.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're in one section of the Heywood Wakefield furniture factories. So we are a rehab, basically, rehabbed factory building. So very unique apartments, mostly studios. We have 76 studio apartments and then two bedroom apartments. But our smallest studio is just over 400 square feet. Our largest one is over 650 square feet, and then the two bedrooms are over 800 square feet. Mm-hmm. Every single one of our apartments does have a pretty good-sized kitchenette with sink, full-size fridge, microwave, and two-burner cooktop stove, mm-hmm. which, again, very few are using their two-burner cooktops because they come enjoy 3 homemade meals every day.
Sure.
I remember when we were meeting with Christy and Tom, her counterpart over at Heywood Wakefield, and he was telling us a story about a gentleman who used to work at Heywood Wakefield Commons, and he said, I used to work right here. And Tom said, oh, whereabouts? And he said, right here in this exact apartment where they were going. So it's neat for people from the Gardner area who might have worked there to see that, this is where their work was when they were younger. So it's pretty neat.
Okay. Excellent. The other thing about Heywood I love is the tall windows. It's in every apartment.
And the brick.
The brick.
Brick.
Yeah.
That's really great.
It's really cool. Let's talk a little bit about services. We did talk a little bit about food. That's really important. But yes. But let's talk a little bit about what other services are typically included. When for residents that come.
Or provided. What you
I still have the microphone, so I'll talk. So I think in general, all assisted living communities generally offer the same types of services, but how we do it may be different community to community. But assisted living is going to offer, in I think the majority of cases, 3 meals a day. We all have dining rooms, dining areas that residents can come and enjoy meals together if they would like to. Basic home care services, so things like housekeeping service, laundry is usually available to people, being done by the staff or choice of the resident or family doing their own. We provide personal care services, medication reminder programs. We also, a big piece of all assisted living communities for sure have generally very busy activity and social calendars. So coordinated programs that and events in-house and sometimes off-site that residents can join in on. Mm-hmm. Anybody want to mention things? And that's, assisted living, memory care. I don't know if there might be some additional services either of you want to talk about.
Sure. So a lot of people, I'm an educator for the Alzheimer's Association as well, and a lot of people ask me, what's the difference between assisted living and memory care, a thing that we call reminiscence. The state calls it a special care unit. And there's basically 2 levers that are of my biggest concern. And the first one is safety. Memory care is locked. The residents can't come and go. and that's a big safety issue. The other is, and the apartments can be the same, studios and one bedrooms that we have in memory care. We don't have any 2 bedrooms in memory care. The other lever, if you will, is dignity. At some point, one of our assisted living residents may not be able to read the menu in the dining room anymore. And statistically in Massachusetts, about a third of the residents statewide in traditional assisted living have a memory care diagnosis. They have a cognitive impairment, but it is early in the disease process, so they're okay in traditional assisted living. But obviously, a lot more support's built in. You know, we've not only may we have to help them get dressed in the morning, we may have to help them not wear stripes and polka dots and plaid on the same day, right? If you know what I mean. And again, from a dignity standpoint, that's not a safety issue. So our care team in memory care is trained at a higher level to address the concerns as dementia progresses. But just as there's a choice in where you are. In Massachusetts, the state says, okay, you want to open an assisted living, here you go. Here are the guardrails. Here's what you can do. How many of us have ever driven on 128? Burlington, that area, right? How many of us have enjoyed that? All right. And the reason is because there's too many flipping lanes and people are going zigzagging in and out. The state says, okay, assisted living, pick what lanes you want to be in and then be consistent. So we help people with mobility. We may have people that need assistance with a walker or a one-person transfer or a two-person transfer or a mechanical lift to go from a wheelchair to a bed. It's important that you know what the community is capable of, and not just for today, but the reasonably foreseeable future. So it's important to, if somebody is coming to an assisted living community with moderate dementia, but can be in assisted living for now, that's fine. But know that when that dementia progresses, they're probably going to need the security of a secured neighborhood. And is that another move that you want to make? So it's not just predicting today, it's predicting the future.
Okay.
So that probably ties into what might disqualify someone from an assisted living should they need the next level of care and the community that they're in doesn't provide it. But what other things might disqualify somebody from assisted living, or what needs might they have that you would require them to either move in or out other than the dementia and the mobility? Are there any other circumstances that might require somebody to not be able to stay?
Sure. So I'll start by saying why people leave. And typically people leave for one of two reasons. The first reason is they run out of life. The second reason is they run out of money. And in 20 years, I've never seen that happen. Both things happen on the same day.
And when you say run out of life, you're making a joke, meaning they've died.
They've passed.
Okay.
Yes.
I see a couple confused faces like, what does that mean? But yes.
Yes. Everybody laments getting older. There's only one other option, folks. You can either get older or not.
Right.
So that said, those are the reasons people leave. But there are regulatory reasons that would disallow somebody from staying in assisted living. And the first one is if they need daily interventional skilled nursing care. Those are the people that really should be talking to Bill and talking about the Highlands or Lifecare Center or Michelle over at Marie at Sterling. Marie over at Sterling Village, or any of the other great providers that we have here. We are truly blessed in North Central Massachusetts to have an entire continuum of great care, from home care to hospital and all of the other steps in between. So skilled interventional nursing care is a default from a regulatory standpoint. Short-term acute need is fine. We can bring in skilled nursing to any of our communities to have that. The other main reasons are uncontrolled aggression. I have to make sure that not only are my residents safe, they're safe with each other, and they're safe with my team. Uncontrolled aggression. And in some cases, medications. We can't really adjust medications up and down on a regular basis like skilled nursing can. You know, they can go in, a nurse can take a blood pressure and say, okay, we're going to cut your metoprolol back, right? Or if a medication needs to be crushed. Many assisted livings can't do that. Those are sort of the main components. Yes.
The other thing too that the Executive Office of Aging and Dependents regulates us on is oxygen.
So oxygen is one of the medications. Insulin is another one of the medications that if somebody's on a sliding scale, we can't go up and down and things like that. And then finally, restraints. We can't use any kind of chemical or physical restraints in assisted living.
Peter, I have a question, legitimately.
Yes, Marie.
Facility, this is like a real question. The back buddy is a restraint. Side wheel is restraints. Is that the same in AL?
So anything that's used as a restraint is disallowed. So if somebody uses a lap buddy, but cognitively and physically can remove it if they want, then it's not a restraint. That's a choice that they can make. Same thing with restraints on a bed, depending on the individual community's policy. Sunrise, because we recognize that any kind of bed rail or transfer device has a very high risk of entrapment. We're very specific about what we will allow. For instance, my mother and father stayed at Sunrise for a period of time. They passed several years ago now, within 14 days of each other. My mother had many health and mobility issues and had a transfer device on her bed because I bought it at Amazon after she passed. 5 years later after I bought it, they sent me the recall notice because people were getting entrapped in that device. It was not a restraint for her. Cognitive, and it worked very effectively for her. But that's not a risk we want to take.
And just for clarification, a lap buddy, if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's a soft pillow that kind of tucks into the armrest of the chair on both sides and is like a little tray, but it's squishy like a pillow. And we used to use them in rehab a lot for folks. They could either put things on it, but it would also just give them a reminder for not to stand up without assistance. But those can definitely be considered restraints and have over the years. Someone might try to stand up with that attached and could tip a wheelchair over. So there's been a lot of different things over time that they really have to be assessed, like Peter's saying, if they can do it cognitively and safely by themselves. And the bed restraints could be something as simple as a bed bar, the railing like you'd see in a hospital bed that someone's using to pull themselves up. One side might be acceptable, but two sides would potentially trap someone in a bed, causing them to climb over it or climb out the end and potentially fall or even worse. So those are kinds of things that they all assess and therapists will assess as well, but it depends on the individual for sure.
Approved by therapy. I think one of the ones you commonly see is, I'm not sure what it's called, Kelly, but the loop. A U-bar.
Yep.
So those are common if you can assist it, if they can get out of bed on their own.
Yep.
To assist. So
okay. Anything else, Kim or Christy, in terms of what might disqualify someone from your communities or assisted living in general that Peter or Patty haven't mentioned?
For us, I think Patty had just mentioned we don't do lifts or things like that. Some communities do lifts. For us, we can't manage more than one assist, meaning one staff member. If they require 2 assists, then we say, unfortunately, it might be time to move to a skilled nursing facility. But also resident rights. We have a resident who was in that very situation who was declining, and family said, we really don't want her to leave. So they hired to assist our staff. And certainly a part of the rights, they can hire anybody they want. So they did hire someone to come in much of the day for those transfers so she can stay in our community. Okay. Not everybody has the means to do that, but for them, I'm glad it worked out. Yes.
Good.
I don't think I have anything in addition to what you folks said, except, you need to ask the questions if you're looking at assisted living, because running out of money is not necessarily the reason every assisted living will have you move on. So I'm sure we'll get into a financial piece, so
we will
get too much into it.
So the question that comes up, and I think we've all answered that do all residents receive the same services, or are they more personalized? And it's more personalized.
It's very much personalized. So in any assisted living community, part of our process is to complete an individual service plan for every individual resident that lives there. And it is regulated by the state, certainly, but it's done initially through an assessment before the resident moves in to determine, one, do we feel this person meets, the criteria and will be safe in our setting, and lays out that first service plan that's specific to that person. This person will get help with medication reminders, maybe help with a shower 2 or 3 times a week, laundry, housekeeping, etc. And the next person might be very independent, and there's very little on that service plan. And then those service plans are reviewed on a regulated basis. So after the first 30 days after moving in, because that's a big change, in that first month, it's a big transition, big change. So it's a good check-in point, see how, everything that we've been helping you with, how is it working? Do you want to make any adjustments? And then again, ongoing every 6 months thereafter, that individual service plan is reviewed with the resident and generally their representative family member, plus any time in between as needed. As they say, a change of condition happened. Maybe somebody did have a health incident or went to the hospital and rehab, and now they need more help with, maybe they need help putting on their shoes and socks when they didn't before. Any one of our teams could make that adjustment at any point. It's kind of a dynamic plan.
So if somebody does need some rehab and it's short term, they can come back.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, because assisted living is a residential setting. So technically we're under landlord-tenant law. So residents sign residency agreements or leases when they move in. So just like if you're renting an apartment anywhere, if you go out to the hospital and then you have a short-term rehab stay, as long as you're paying your rent at your apartment, that's your apartment. It's the same for assisted living in Massachusetts.
Okay, great. That kind of ties into our next question. We're going to talk a little bit about pricing in terms of assisted living without specifically telling your monthly prices, because they're all varied by community. Just can give us a general idea about leases that you just talked about, or if someone was able to do maybe a month to month, and what type of stays do you typically see in your communities?
You want me to start again? Okay. So in our community, our leases are for 12-month terms, but the terms of the lease, our residents can break a lease at any point for any reason with a 30-day written notice. So my community, Heywood, Wakefield Commons, is more unique than most, where we're under a housing program, a low-income housing tax credit program. So it does not allow for short-term, month-to-month leases, but all of our leases obviously can be broken with a 30-day written notice.
And they're not required to pay out the lease if they break it, as long as you get that notice.
Correct. They are not required to pay that full year if they've given the proper notice. It's generally a first and last month's rent that folks pay, and last month's rent covers that last 30 days.
Anything Kim or Patty or Peter want to comment on that?
Just for Manor on the Hill, we basically, when you sign the lease, just like the other communities, we go month to month. So, you can like Christy said, give a 30-day notice. Sometimes people do a trial, like a respite stay, to make sure it's a good fit. I just had a woman come from Watertown who wasn't sure, so she did 30 days. And during that 30 days, we furnished the room, and she decided if she wanted to remain in the community. And luckily she did. So, so during that 30-day period, it gave her the opportunity to make decisions. Did she want to stay in the apartment we provided? Pick another one, but that's an option. And then we do go month to month, and then we do, at the manor, we kind of look at when folks are applying to move in, we obviously make sure that they can afford it, but we try to have a financial plan down the road because people do outlive their money. Some of our residents, our oldest resident, 102. So if they outlive their money, we try to have a plan in place, and we do partner with Summit Elder Care. So it doesn't always work when your funds run out, but we're very upfront if you're able to stay when that day comes.
It's the same at the Gables. It's a year residency agreement, but with a 30-day notice, you can leave at any time. That just locks in the rate. Because we're all inclusive for care, but something else I wanted to say. But, it's a security deposit. We don't have first, last month. It's like I have 2 people moving in the next couple of weeks, so it's prorated daily for the rest of the month, then a small security deposit, and then we have a $3,200 orientation fee. So we're all a little bit different with that, and we've been very flexible with that. But I ask families to keep track of the finances. And when it gets down to maybe the last, if it looks like your parents are going to outlive their money, come talk to us, and we'll talk about next steps. Most of the time, the next steps never come, but some of our residents have moved on to Heywood, Wakefield, if it worked out, and Manor on the Hill. So, as Kim said earlier, we all work together for the good of the residents.
Let me just start by saying that, yes, I think the way I look at it is, we're all getting older. I tell my colleagues, we're not competitors, we're colleagues, and there's plenty of old people to go around. Honest to God, there's plenty of old people to go around. I think it doesn't matter where you start if you're looking at assisted living. And as I said at the beginning, I'm honored to be up here with these colleagues and the work that they do, as well as Sunrise, because none of us are going to have somebody move in that is not appropriate. But there's a lot of detail, there's a lot of granularity in what is appropriate. And the vision I would ask you, as you're thinking about this for yourself or other family members, is think about, and if you're taking notes, make two little lines, and those are the rails of your train. And we're going to start the journey using that vision. One of those tracks is what kind of care does the individual need now, and what kind of care do they need in the predictable future? The other rail is how much does it cost now and in the predictable future? And I see some of those, oh my God, he's going to talk about cost. The reality of the situation is this is a complicated business. We're regulated by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. If anybody can make something complicated, yes, that's where it is. So it's important to have those conversations up front. And a lot of details. The Gables does a small security deposit. We do not. A $3,200 orientation fee. We call ours something a little bit different, but it's $4,000. And that's all of the work that gets preloaded into before somebody moves in, because it's coordinating with a primary care physician, specialty physicians, pharmacy, all of these other things. So think of those two rails. The other thing I'm going to ask you to think of is draw a circle. And that's 100% of your daily or monthly rate, whatever that is. And how does that get divided up? Is it all inclusive? And it includes, the apartment with the housekeeping, the meals, the laundry, that type of stuff, and a certain amount of care? Or is it like Sunrise, where the beginning part of that is true, except for the care? Care at Sunrise can start at $0, but go up to hundreds of dollars a day if somebody needs mechanical lifts, one-on-one eating support, complete everything. We have people in the building today on hospice. I also have people in the building that drive, and everybody in between. So think about how that gets divided up and where you go from there. But the basic thing is this needs to be a relationship built on trust. If you hire a realtor and they're taking, you're looking at the probably single biggest asset that you have, your home, and they're helping you to decide how much to list that for, that's a relationship built on trust. The people that move into any of our communities and their families, it's a relationship built on trust. I tell a family, you're going to know pretty much on a monthly basis how much it's going to cost. Come and see me 6 months before that nest egg gets whittled down, because that's when we need to start talking about the next step. Nobody gets put out on the street. Nobody gets put out on the street. But like we were saying, there's a whole continuum of care, from home care to hospital and everything in between. We can help arrange for those next steps.
So let's, while you have the mic, Peter, let's talk a little bit about, we're speaking mostly about private pay, but also I know at Sunrise there are some VA options. Are there other long-term care insurance options as well?
Sure, and I think VA long-term care, right? Yeah. So I think this is true for everyone. But there are some subsidy programs available we do not do any subsidies. I can't afford to, although I have a meeting coming up with Summit to do PACE. I can't predict whether or not that will be something we can do or not. Like I said, it's a complicated business and it's an expensive business to run. It does cost a significant amount of money to run the business, which equates to a monthly bill. But long-term care insurance, even if it's written for a nursing home, I have found that it will cover assisted living as long as that person needs a minimum of 2 activities of daily living per day. You can't move to assisted living, be completely independent, just come as the hotel experience, the social experience, and have long-term care pay. Genworth or Mutual of Omaha or whoever's writing that, they're going to say, no, this is long-term care, not a vacation. Veterans aid and attendance. And am I missing any of the?
You have to spend down to $159,000 before that will kick in.
Right. So there are going to be different program requirements of those. Certainly for the VA, that's the federal government, they can make it even more complicated. And long-term care, you may have a defined benefit. It's a certain amount of money. You may have a waiting period. You may have a daily rate that may cover everything or not. So it depends on how your policy is written. But I don't know if anybody wants to talk about PACE or any of the other programs.
I promise this is not a commercial for Heywood Wakefield Commons. It's just that we are so
You're the pioneer sponsor.
different.
So you
Pioneer
are different,
sponsor.
yeah.
But
you are different.
there are a few of us in the state of Massachusetts, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, not many, but Heywood Wakefield Commons was redeveloped under a low-income housing tax credit program. So that is very complicated. I won't get into the details of it, but what that means is we're able to operate a more affordable model than a typical private pay only assisted living community. It does come with red tape and income criteria that will change every year. But it also gives us the ability to, as long as the resident's income is within the Summit Elder Care PACE program's income guidelines, our residents are able to stay in the same apartment they moved into, get the same care and services, and not have to move on. As long as they're still safe and happy where they are, we have a contract with, it's an insurance program, but it's an all-inclusive care insurance program that also provides primary care and many other benefits. Some of you were at their seminar, I think, was it last month, the PACE seminar. But we're able to work with them to get a financial subsidy for those residents who are financially qualified for their program, and capture just the resident's income basically to apply towards the rent, basically the room and board portion, the meals, the activities, and the PACE program helps us offset costs for the care that we're providing to the resident, so that they don't have to worry about moving out just because their savings had depleted. And again, there are income criteria, but very rarely do we have somebody who doesn't qualify. It'll just be from time to time. And I believe Kim works on a limited basis as well with.
Yes. So Manor on the Hill, we do partner with PACE. So at least we have a plan in place knowing when the funds run out, if they can stay. And the majority of our residents do stay. Coming in low income doesn't always work. So if somebody comes in and they're already on the PACE program, which is a managed mass health Medicare program, it doesn't always work. But I never say never. I have a woman coming in shortly who's going to our memory care unit, who is on the PACE program, and financially works, because everybody's Social Security is different. Everybody's, sometimes that aid and attendance, if you've been a veteran or spouse of, so everybody's income and care needs is truly different. So we have to look at everybody individually. So we have had people come in low income. Doesn't always work, but it's an option. And at least we do look that you can stay if you outlive your money, and the majority do with the PACE.
Mm-hmm. So as Peter was mentioning,
Yeah.
it's about building this relationship of trust, and talking about what is happening today, what's going to be happening in the foreseeable future, and how the finances work into that.
Correct. We look down the road because things do change.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And the best way, really, if you're interested in any of these communities, is to make an appointment and sit down with them to really find out your specific situation, what you might qualify for, which is the best fit. It's hard to just come up here and name off a price, because it's different for every person and based on your scenario and your Social Security and long-term care insurance if you have it. So we've been keeping it general today so people can find out more about the communities, but the finances are always something that is more individual for each client to look at in talking with them.
So what time is it?
It's
About 20 of.
about 20 of. We want to leave a few minutes for questions. Maybe we'll do one more question
Yeah.
and then open
Sure.
it up to discuss.
Kim, since you have the microphone, share with us a little bit about a day in the life of a resident at Manor.
Sure. So most folks, once they settle in, they get up, they go down to the dining room, they have a breakfast, they grab their activity schedule, and they pick what they want to do. They choose kind of how they want to spend their day. Perfect example, Easter. I'd say half of our residents left the building to go to family members for the holiday. Half stayed in and had family join them. So that's a typical day. You go to the dining room, you go to activities, you choose how you want to spend your day. And then some folks might need a little rehab so they can come in the building. You can have visitors, you can come and go. And then there's staff there. If you need anything, you press your button, there's staff 24 hours. So you kind of decide how you want to spend your day. But at least the meals, we do a safety check just to make sure we've offered a meal, because some people are a little forgetful. So that's a huge thing. It's making sure, okay, did we check on them to make sure they came down to breakfast? Okay, they don't want to come down, no problem, but we put eyes on them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a typical day.
Okay. Patty, how about you? What's a day like on John Fitch?
Very similar. We have a big whiteboard in the lobby. Plus, we have an activities calendar. So Jennifer, she's wonderful. I strongly urge you to check out our Facebook page. She's been blowing that up. But anyway, they get up, they have breakfast, they look at the whiteboard. We have activities such as they all A lot of the residents participate in this very large crossword. A few times a week we have exercise. We have an exercise room. It's chair exercise. She takes them they go out to the old mill for lunch because all of us have vans, big 15 passenger vans, and they go to Home Goods, Dollar Tree, Marshalls. They go out shopping. They've gone over to Slattery's a couple of times. We have Gables Night once a month where a family member can come in and there's entertainment. It's always a themed. I mean, go back on the Facebook page. We did Wizard of Oz one time, and it's just, being a smaller community, we're like a little family, and it's just, it's pretty nice. So I think we all have pretty much the same daily activities, but maybe a little different.
But if there's a resident that they don't typically come down for breakfast, or let's use the example, they do typically come down for breakfast, and a staff member doesn't see them.
Everything is checked off at the front desk. We have a whole system in place. We have a kiosk now. It's a little different since you guys have been in. We've got a whole new system in the building, but if someone isn't seen by a certain amount of time, because all the residents we have eyes on every resident every morning, 7 to 3 shift, 3 to 11, and overnight checks if needed. A lot of residents don't want us going in their apartments at night, but they're checked off as they come down for meals. And if they haven't come down, we send a CNA back because people fall back asleep.
Sure.
Watching TV or whatever. So everyone's checked off for every meal.
And I think maybe all of you have hairdressers that come in,
Yes.
if not on staff, so people get their
Oh,
hair
yeah.
done, their nails done, all that stuff.
She
which
was
is
there
really
yesterday.
wonderful.
Everybody looks gorgeous.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And I know, Peter, you do a lot with wine tastings and things, so that's something a little different.
Yeah, so this will be a plug for Sunrise. We are the closest assisted living community represented here to Rhoda Spring Farm in Sterling. So as soon as they open up for ice cream, we are there, and that's probably one of the most favorite things. But yeah. Just like the service plans are very individualized, a day in assisted living is very individualized as well. It's really what you want to make of it. People will say, well, what kind of resident clubs do you have? It varies depending on the residents. I mean, I think we're up to about 200 knit caps for the NICU. So the crocheting club, I call them the clickers, because all you just from the next room, you can hear the little needles clicking away. It really is depending on what you want to do. You can make it really fun. When my parents were there, they said, this is like a cruise ship, but you wake up in the same place every day. There's stuff to do. There's great food. Why didn't you tell us about this sooner, Peter? 5 years. It took dynamite to get them out of their house.
I forgot about that. We have a craft or knitting club too, and a book club.
Yeah, nice. And you have a nice library over there. I think most of you all have libraries. It's nice.
Yeah, we have entertainers that come in. I was at Heywood, Wakefield once for, I think it was a summer party, and it was a hoedown. I'm like, I've never seen so many overalls in my life.
Oktoberfest in June. Oh, great. Yeah.
I'll
Excellent.
bring my tuba.
That's good. All right. So we have one last question for the panel, and then we'll open it up for questions, and we'll just make it quick. This is kind of the lightning round. Okay. Ready for it?
I'll go first.
Okay. Okay. So if you can give the audience one additional insider tip, give us an insider tip about assisted living.
One tip. Don't wait until it's a crisis.
Boom. Perfect. Great. Patty, how about you?
I encourage families to do their due diligence and look around everywhere. Go by how you feel, talk to residents, talk to staff, look at Google reviews, look at Facebook pages, and just look around and do your due diligence.
So you
'Cause
encourage
hopefully
families when they come in to talk to the residents that are there.
they do.
Yeah.
Residents will talk to them.
Sure.
And the staff is good about introducing themselves to families when I'm doing tours and such as well.
Okay.
So.
I guess the biggest thing is you look at proximity for visiting. That's the big thing. Affordability and comfort. When you walk in, do you feel comfortable? That's a lot of it. And it's a very, very emotional decision. So, you will get the support wherever you go, but most of our residents are not thrilled about it. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to share when we talk about activities, what was fun? I was in on Saturday and a family brought in puppies. Oh my gosh. I said, you're never getting out of this building. So you can bring, pet. That's a big deal. Yeah. So we enjoyed the puppies. Yeah.
Okay. It's hard to be the last one. You guys all stole my ideas. So
it's hard to beat puppies.
I think it's the, vibes are a big thing, and kind of piggybacking on Kim, it's you don't know till you physically walk in a community. You got to do at least more than one, and your loved one, what you get the feeling that you feel when you're there, and the people that are living there and working there, talk to the staff too. Are the staff on their phones, or are they attentive and talking to residents? That's very important to look at.
Great.
Come and have lunch.
Try the food.
Come and have lunch. Absolutely. So, all right. So we do have some time for some questions, and I'll grab a mic here. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask our staff? Yes. Here you go.
How far in advance should you start planning? If you're doing fine, you're living fine, but you don't have kids that will be able to help you, how far in advance should you start looking at places, even if it's years down the road that you might need it?
You don't have to be sick to be in assisted living. It's a social model.
Grab the mic.
Like Peter said. A lot of it's the companionship and being around your peers and being part of a group, because a lot of the residents, and I'm sure everyone here can say this as well, that have moved in under duress, that really didn't want to. Within a couple of weeks were fine, and like Peter said with his parents, wish they had done it sooner, because it's not what people think. I tell them to look at it as a new adventure. And that's individualized, because it's 55 and up. So depending on your finances.
So really good question. The great thing, the easiest answer to your question is sooner rather than later, because there's no commitment. You're just gathering information. It's not like who has a power of attorney? All right, that's a commitment. Who has a healthcare proxy? That's a commitment. Who has a DNR? That's a commitment. Those are things that you're committing. Coming to visit any of us is just, okay.
You're just looking.
You're just looking. There's no, it's not like, I have had people that come to visit and their adult children had the bag packed in the trunk. But that's rare. That's rare.
It's like going to an open house. If you see an open house, a house you always liked, and you just walk in, they may have you sign in just because they want to know who's in the property, but it doesn't mean you're going to buy the house. So treat it like that. You're coming for a visit just to check it out.
But there's no pressure. Buy now. Put your deposit down now.
No.
Walk it in.
Yeah, it's not like going to a timeshare.
Our best customer is somebody that is just looking. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Our toughest customer is dad's getting discharged from the hospital tomorrow, and they just said he can't go home and he doesn't qualify for skilled nursing. Yeah. What do we do?
Yeah.
Have you seen any assisted livings before? No. And at that point, this is an emotional decision on a good day.
Right.
At that point, you're in a crisis. Mm-hmm. Don't do it way before that.
Don't wait for the crisis. Anyone else? Yes, Jan.
Would you speak to some of your, I'm not sure if this is certain, but some of you are owned by corporate parents, companies, or are you locally owned, and how does somebody learn about that? Thank you.
Yeah, just ask. And this is a very diverse group of models. So the owner of the Gables is a single individual
Yes, it's the same family that built the building
way back.
back in the 80s. One of the sons still owns it.
Sunrise is a management company. We've been running the business since 2000 for our capital partner that built the building, two brothers, back in 1996, 1997. And Sunrise has around 300 communities in the United States and Canada. But it's still two brothers that own it and an executive director that's been there for 20 years. So the models can be very different. But I think if you're, and buy local is always a good thing. You know, that's great. Buy tomatoes from your local farmer if you can afford $3.50 a tomato.
But they taste delicious.
But it is right. It is. So pros and cons of all of those things. But it's really, would I say it's really the day-to-day vibe that makes the difference? And what that comes down for me are the people in the building. That's what makes the business.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever.
You're family owned?
We are family owned, yes. And then also, most of the folks moving in are local. So I think when you look at communities, if you're local, you're going to know peers, and that's a big piece of it too. Community, definitely.
And at Heywood Wakefield Commons, we're owned by a nonprofit, Worcester Community Housing Resources, but the day-to-day operations is through, I work for a management company, Hall Keene Assisted Living. We have, I believe it might be 16 assisted livings at this point, mostly in New England.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Does anyone else have a question that they'd like to ask? Yes.
Do any of these your places have walking trails on site?
Nope.
We have our community has a long driveway, and we don't have walking trails. We're near a walking trail, and we do not recommend crossing the street, even though our residents want to. Please don't. But we're hoping down the road when Leominster, the lovely town of Leominster, was flooded, that was us too. So we're hoping to do a path around the whole community, but we do have a lot of walkers on our property, yeah.
We have Coolidge Park across the street, so we have a walking
That's right.
club.
Yep. So,
Perfect.
all right, great. Well, let's give our panelists a big round of applause. We thank you so much.
And feel free to ask them some questions individually after we break up. And Jeff's going to just review our next seminar.
So next month is estate planning, trust, wills, and guardianships right back here, same time. It's the second. We always meet the second Wednesday of the month. So May 13th.
There's a flyer for that up on the back table if you want to grab
this
one.
month's a little early because the April 1st was last Wednesday. So June 10th, something new. We're going to talk about ADUs and unlocking your home's potential. There's a great organization that just opened shop here in Leominster, and we're going to have them as a guest. They're really excited to come. We're going to have one of the building inspectors from Leominster come as well, someone that finances this type of property as well, and we'll talk a lot about what the possibilities are. So we're looking forward to that, and we'll be here as well to answer any questions. So thanks for coming, and we'll see you
so
next
much.
month.
Bring a friend next month too.
Thank you guys for hosting.
You're welcome.